Okay, so this is a new-ish by now. I wanted to play whatever. I bought this. I bought this at like launch, but didn't play it till now. This is new visual novel by Frontwing and Makura. Also produced by Aniplex, which oh well. So yeah, I had a lot of fun playing Island, which was by Frontwing. I also obviously want to play like Grisaya, whatever in the future. But anyway, ATRI, My Dear Moments. I hope all the settings are correct. I don't exactly know. I don't even really know what to expect from this story very much. All I know is it's about a flooded city or something. Let's just get started. Ooh. Okay, so okay, the video actually works on stream directly. Oh, by the way, I did turn on subtext, and I don't know what that means. So I guess that's what this is? I have double text. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it like that, because I don't really... This is kind of interesting. That is a... I think I will turn that off if I can. Yeah. Part of me wants to keep it on, but there's no furigana anyway, so I can't really read it. I don't think it's really gonna help me. It might be really cool to replay this for myself later on at some point in the future to have both of them on. But I'm just gonna keep it like this for now. Sorry for the weird scaling thing. I had to do that to change the settings on the fly. This world is sinking. It's being swallowed up by the rising seas. I hope the volumes are okay. I don't really know, to be honest. But man, I'm so used to putting the mouse at the corner of the screen, which now opens the dialogue box. I think the mouse actually disappears. It's almost like similar to our current seeming future. We're gonna get an opening video. Actually, that's gonna play after the prologue or whatever. My face might be over the song names sometimes, oh well. I am surrounded by endless darkness. Not a single ray of light illuminates my path as I crawl through the gloom, praying for an exit that may not even exist. But as hard as I try, I cannot move. My leg is crushed beneath a dreadful weight, completely trapped. Searing agony radiates through my body. Please, Mom, someone, help! My hands scrabble around in the dirt, reaching out for anyone, anything, but they find nothing. It hurts. It hurts. Somebody save me! I guess my name is Natsuki. I am in a room. I awaken suddenly to the sight of my hand stretched out toward the low ceiling of my room. Grasping at nothing, I let my arm drop down my side. And then I feel it. Ugh. My body twists and contorts as an intense pain throbs in my right leg. Ugh. After a few torturous seconds, it disappears, as if it was never there in the first place. I lay limply back onto the bed, trying to slow my breathing. My body is coated in a clammy layer of sweat. I must have fallen asleep. I raise my head and look down at my leg, or at least where it should be. The very same right leg that just a moment ago was pulsing with agony is as non-existent as it has been for the past 8 years, and yet it still hurts. The empty space where my flesh should be still torments me. Doesn't it have a name like phantom pain? There are no nerves there to send signals to my brain, but my mind still will not accept the truth. They call it phantom pain. It's started to flare up again lately. Phantom pain isn't affected by regular painkillers. I mean, of course it isn't. It's all an illusion. Pain emanating from nerves that don't even exist. A doctor would prescribe antidepressants, but their side effects could be even worse than the pain. Not that a doctor would be able to get their hands on those these days. I simply have to live in constant dread for of the next attack. Well, MC missing a leg. The gentle sunlight leaking through the portholes stabs my... I can't read. The gentle sunlight leaking through the portholes stabs at my eyes. It must be morning. No point lying around here, I suppose. I hear a sudden, satisfying crunch from someone across the room. Or from somewhere across the room. An apple? Walking in the twilight. Maybe I should move my head to the other side and mirror it or something. I don't know if I should. I don't know. Maybe this will be okay. I will be looking not at the game though. Maybe it will look a bit weird. Maybe I can just mirror it. Can I? Can I not mirror? Transform, flip, horizontal. Well, that's gonna look really weird to me, but anyway. I didn't really hear. Can we hit play again? I also need to change the setting real quick. No. Ha, where is it? 10 seconds? There we go. Because that thing stayed there and that's a bit annoying. I don't know if it's gonna go away. I look over to find a young woman chopping pieces of off of an apple with a pen knife. Really nice to hear that from a woman who sneaks into someone else's room and steals their breakfast. Lifting myself up from the sweat-streaked sheets, I sit on the edge of my bed and reach for my prosthetic leg. Also, another moment. Sorry, I do have to change this. Oh, voice is on max. I'm just gonna lower during voice playback. Ooh. That's a bit better. That's actually great. This is great settings. Lovely settings. Awesome. Okay. Why are all these voices slightly different? What? Are these? I'm just gonna restore default. Game tuning? No, not the whole game. Whatever. I'm assuming these are all defaults anyway. I didn't change anything. Lifting myself up in the yes. Reach for my prosthetic leg. Oh man. Naturally, a prosthetic leg is supposed to be built to fit an individual's body. But this one wasn't made specifically for me. It's an old second-hand model, not just ill-fitting, but on the verge of breaking too. It's better than nothing though. These days, it's possible to get cybernetic legs that can be controlled by nerve signals or even full cybernetic implants. Unfortunately, those are far, far out of my price range right now. I place my stump into the socket and tighten the straps around it. When I try moving the joint, it lets out an ominous creak. I fiddle with its screws and give it a little oil. The radio I'd switched on before I laid down is still blaring. I go through the motions of keeping my decrepit old leg working while half listening to the drone of the announcer's voice. Oh, sorry, Shadowy. A rocket has been hailed by someone. So, yeah, so I guess as far as I already am aware from the current situation is like humanity is on the we're on the brink of society. Mirrored face cam also is confusing me, Shadowy. It certainly also is, but the thing is, like, there's sometimes there's a song title, so I moved my face, but then I wasn't looking at the game, so I mirrored it, and it looks weird to me, but well. So as far as I'm already understanding, is the society, humanity is about to die, with flooding, which realistic, and now there's a rocket. So trying to get humanity to on a different planet, potentially Mars, maybe. They will. Well, they've got the bigger picture in mind. If they don't work to assure we've got a future, what's the point of fixing whatever bullshit the common person's got going on? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's no point in trying to get philosophical with you, I know. I push my foot down, getting a feel for the leg. The joint's moving a little more smoothly now. I actually kind of want to know how long this game is going to be, to compare it to... Okay, so according to Visual Novel Database, it would be less long than Island. Anyway. At least let me have breakfast first. It's only when I finished my sentence that I remembered that my apple's already long gone. Another female voice calls out, this time from off my ship. Someone outside. Oh, that JPEG compression is great, though. Hello, Minamo? Just knock on the knock on the somewhere. Minamo.
あいつ友達なんかいたんだ。お姉さんは一体。私？愛人？
Wife. Bye bye, Shadowy. Don't listen to her. She's just your average apple pinching intruder. Why are you here, Minamo? Before I can say anything, Catherine has already opened her big mouth.
きゃいけないの。一攫千金のために。ガキンチョは買えんな。
Minamo flinches and almost tears up as a slight glare is flashed her way. If you're not doing anything else, you could help us out. An extra pair of hands would be useful.
暇じゃないよ。学校行かなきゃだから。
What's the point in that? School makes you dumb. Oh no, main character sucks.
賢くなるために行くんでしょ。待ってよ、ナツくん。ねえ、ナツくん。
Is that just an actual photo? Suddenly at sea. Actually, is it a... What's it called? Oh my god, I forgot the... I'm sure the word will come up anyway. The ship rumbles its way away from the pier and stops a little distance from the shore. Seems like... this seems like the place. Right, so this is a flooded, country, I don't know. The whole world's flooded, I don't know. Deep into translucent waters, I can see the shadowing of something man-made. What was once the city? Minamo grumbles to herself as she stares at the endless expanse of blue. I climb down from the deck toward the other vessel the ship is towing. I open the hatch on the large, egg-like craft bobbing up and down in the waves. Minamo, when I close the hatch, disengage the clamps. You know how to do that, right? I'll need you to operate the crane too. If you've got any questions, ask Catherine. What am I doing? What's this setup? What's... I'm not going to be diving too deep. A little bit of leakage isn't anything to worry about. Right, here it goes. I dug down inside the submarine, that's the word, and closed the hatch behind me. I take my seat at the controls and pump the choke lever until I hear the engine splutter into life. Tap all the gauges to check if they're working, and signal to Minamo out of the small window on the top of the sub. Okay, disengage the clamps. Minamo flaps her arms back at me with a troubled expression. Sorry, I can't hear a word of what you're saying. Can't hear her through the glass, and her arm movements don't communicate anything except possibly frightened goose. Better signal to Catherine instead. Grinning like a demon, plunging a sinner into the depths of hell, she disengages the lock. That's kinda loud. I feel the sub sway as it floats freely in the water. Ugh, I'd get motion sick. Ugh. I call out through the radio. Okay, lower the crane. I tug on the control stick and the sub's manipulator arms grasp the crane's hook. I attach it to the eyelet on the top of the egg. Venting the ballast tanks. The sea around the sub ripples and bubbles as the tanks empty out their air and replace it with water. The rotund? Don't actually know what that word is. The little ship starts to gradually submerge as it grows heavy with ballast. The color outside the window darkens from the baby blue of the sky to the deep aqua of the sea. The submarine, Serpens albus, slowly sinks into the water, glistening in the morning sun. So, still, what's the point? Something to make us rich. Cool. The little ship slowly and silently drifts through the sea. It sinks deeper and deeper. Before long, the rusty joints of its hull start to creak under the pressure. Man, that's so scary. Imagine. I wouldn't want to drown. Holy crap. You're already hurting at this depth, and this might be a problem after all. Minamo's doubts seem to be contagious. The Serpent's Albus is a pretty old ship. It's supposed to be capable of going a few hundred meters down, but I can't help but feel that if I tried going down that deep now, I'd end up the size of a basketball. Thankfully, I'm not heading down anywhere that deep. There'd be a couple of dozen meters at most. The light outside grows dimmer, and soon all that I can see beyond the window is a dark navy. I cruise through the lonely waters towards the treasure I seek. I came to this town because I had nothing left. I had lost everything. I lived here once as a child, left in the care of my grandmother. But when I returned after 8 years, the scenery was unrecognizable. The ocean, where did I just get that from? The beautiful coastal town I remembered was gone. There it is. The town itself. Sunken beneath the waves, buried here at the bottom of the ocean, is a town that just a few years ago was teeming with people. Completely submerged? How quickly did the water rise? The sight of the buildings shimmering in the sunlight, piercing the water, is uncanny. It's like time has stopped. This town was not the only one to be enveloped by the sea. When the waters around the world suddenly began to rise, entire cities were plunged into this limbo. No one knows why. Scientists posited that it might be climate change or some kind of movement in the Earth's crust, but no one can say for sure. All we really know is that sea levels suddenly began to rise inexorably, swallowing up more and more land. The mysterious phenomenon brought humanity to its knees, almost entirely destroying our civilization. They say we've entered the twilight of our species, and it's hard to disagree. The population had already started to drop before I was born, and by the time I became aware of the world, it was already doomed. Even though I lived through the terror of the great sea rise, I don't really have any conception of the supposed times of plenty that adults talk about. They're always droning on about the past and other bullshit, but this is the only world I've ever known. Something inside me makes me want to blame the state of this planet on them. As I sit here lost in my thoughts, a transmission comes through my radio. Great, I'll be arriving at the target soon. After a moment's lag, the reply comes. What do we need though? What's the point? What? The lag's a necessary annoyance given the that radio waves don't pass through water too easily. All of our communications are converted into high-frequency sound waves which travel slower. Does that make sense? Probably. I've learned about waves and stuff like that in high school, but it's been a bit too long. If you want to get out of here so much, why not find some other job? You don't want to die a debt collector, do you? Just as I'm about to get back to work, another voice comes over the radio. What's wrong? You sound like you're about to burst into tears. It's fine, a little bit creaky, but nothing to worry. Nothing worth worrying about. It looks pretty nice down here. I should show you sometime. This kind of scenery could take someone's breath away, that's for sure. Ha 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 ha. I'm telling you, it's fine. This thing might be old, but that means it's tough and simple too. Oops, well, oh yeah, that. You really are a good girl, aren't you? Giggling with a strangely elated tone, he ends the transmission. What the hell was that? God, that completely broke my concentration. My grandmother was an ocean geologist. She left me a lot in her will. Although her home was flooded, her boat and this submarine that she used for field work weren't taken by the waters, because they're boats. She was obsessed with her research and despised children. Before she died, she poured a significant amount of her savings into something that she locked up in her storehouse. That's what I'm here to salvage. Ah. There it is. Her house. For a short time, I suppose it was mine too. I grasped the controls and steered the sub back into the back garden. There, just as I remember, is the storehouse. It's quite big, almost out of keeping with the size of the actual house. My grandmother never let me get close to it. Perhaps she was keeping materials related to her research in there. Now, however, it's the only place I'm interested in. Getting in might be difficult, though. The storehouse's heavy iron doors look to be locked tight. We're going to have to break the doors down. When I give you the signal, wind in the winch. I reach the manipulator arm up to undo the crane's hook and attach it to the bar holding the two doors solidly closed. Okay, pull. Now I'm no longer attached to them. The cable winds back swiftly and snaps taut, but the doors don't move an inch. Huh, no dice. Just as I'm about to give the signal to stop, a clang and the sound of creaking metal echo through the water. The door collapses, sending up a billowing cloud of sediment. The resulting opening is large enough for the serpent's elbows to fit straight through. Well, looks like that'll do. If I hadn't been able to get the doors open, I would have had to break through the roof, and that could have damaged whatever is inside. It's been 10 years. Finally, time to see what's in here. I orient the sub towards the door and slowly start to push forward. Am I gonna be okay? Inside the storehouse, the inside of the storehouse is in far better condition than the outside. The walls are lined with bookshelves full of research materials and measurement buoys. And measurement buoys and data collection equipment are scattered all over the floor. As a kid, this place would have made a perfect playground. I can picture my grandmother thinking about all the fun children could get up to in here and scowling as she locked the doors. Probably a wise decision, to be fair. I shine the sub's light. The sub's light? Wouldn't that be apostrophe S? Uh-oh, the sub's light across the room, searching out my target. The fact that I don't actually know what I'm looking for makes that easier said than done, however. It's supposed to be something valuable, but to my untrained eyes, all of the devices in here look like they cost a pretty penny. Crabs and fish skitter around the assorted detritus, fleeting from the torch beams. I notice an odd object as I sweep the lights around. What's that? What is that? A large oblong box. Uh-oh, I already see it. Down here in the murky gloom, it almost looks like a sunken sarcophagus. Uh-huh. Something's inside. Slowing down my engine so that my screw drives don't kick up too much sediment, I cautiously approach. Really does seem to be some kind of casket. This reminds me of Island. Holy shit. Flashbacks. The perfect size for a single person. Part of the surface seems to be glass. I peer through the gloom. A mannequin? No, a girl? Inside the capsule is a young girl, as delicate and fragile looking as an antique doll. Strangely, I don't even feel an inkling of fear or discomfort. You sure? Maybe it's because it seems so unreal, or perhaps it's just to show how it's just how adorable she looks. Doubts about not feeling discomforting. Whatever the case, I have no idea what she really is. There's only one thing I'm sure about. This has to be what I'm here for. What even is this? It looks like it has electricity, but that's all I can really tell from looking at it. I'm going to have to raise the whole thing. I'm not going to be able to manage that with just a manipulator arm. I have to rely on the crane. I steered the sub back out of the building and pulled a wire out from the remains of the door. Dragging it along behind me, I make my way back to the casket. As I approach it, my hand slips from the control stick and the sub nudges the case. Oh god, please don't. It's not a hard hit, but for a moment a chill runs down my spine. I haven't broken it, have I? Doesn't seem like the glass is cracked. Alright, what? Like, I mean, knowing the game, knowing that, having seen, like, the image on the Steam page, I was aware that she would wake up or something, but the fact that she is, I don't know, doll, supposedly humanoid, a human being underwater for 10 years would be dead, so this must be scary. At least, I guess not to MC, but jeez. The eyes have opened. Our gaze meets through the glass. She's alive? Like, that's why I'm thinking, like, that there was no discomfort at all, because you're just seeing a dead body. Like, what's discomforting about that? That was a bit of a weird line to me. Not gonna lie. I know my voice can't be reaching her, but she tilts her head slightly as if in response. Suddenly, like a bolt of lightning, a name pops into my mind. I'd heard it once at the hospital at my grandmother's bedside. ATRI? The girl watches the movements of my lips carefully. And she smiles. She really is alive. But what is she? Maybe she's a robot. As I sit wondering what to do next, the girl starts to move. She begins to tap away at some panels inside the capsule. Which panels? The glass of the case opens. Excuse me. A great cloud of bubbles billows out of the casket, out as the casket is inundated with water. What are you doing? Seems like she didn't realize she was underwater. As much as she panics and tries to hammer the controls, there's no close on the glass now. Forgot to save her. No shit. At that moment, a shadow looms over me. A sudden rush from air from the casket buffers the ceiling of the building. The already water-damaged framework seemingly rattled by my destruction of the doors. The walls start to cave in and the concrete ceiling cracks. No! I instinctively push the control stick forward. What am I supposed to do? The serpent's albus moans in agony as steel beams collapse on top of it. Thankfully, I've managed to cover the girl from harm, but we're not out of the woods yet. How the Oh, this is bad. Am I trapped? I try to put my engine into reverse, but the sub is pinned down under the ceiling. My mind is instantly filled with intense, gruesome memories. Buried alive, just like before. Which... strange. My body is quickly coated in an ice-cold sweat and pain throbs through the spot where my legs should be. The weight above me seems to bear down on my very soul. My eyes meet the girl's. She stares at me with a strange look as if she doesn't realize the danger she's in. I've got to save her. Grasping the controls, I try to find the hook of the crane to affix it to the sub, but it's nowhere to be found. Did it come off in the impact? Tried to peer around the floor, but my manipulator arms couldn't reach down there even if I did see it, and the sub can't move an inch. What do I do? Pain and panic surges through my brain. I feel my consciousness grow distant. Just as I'm about to black out, the girl I see the girl jump from the casket. She reaches down, lifts up a glimmering silver object, the hook. Please give that to me. She tilts her head to the side and stares. She places the hook in the fingers of my manipulator. Quickly attach it to the sub's frame. Hey, can you hear me up there?
Nani?
Fucking... wind in the winch, quick! Now I know that I had been mispronouncing the wind in the winch, but in reality it should have been winding in the winch. Whoops. What was that? Wind in the winch now. They don't do it this instant, I'm going to end up completely crushed. I grab the girl from the casket in the manipulator arm. What? She stares impassively at me through the window, unfazed by the metal grip around her waist. I bet you she's a robot and doesn't need air, I guess. Isn't she scared? If anything, she looks particularly relaxed. Why isn't she struggling for breath by now? I mean, she couldn't possibly be a human, having been, you know, away from air for 10 years. So that's at least what I'm thinking. I'm thrown from my seat from the sudden acceleration. Wait, thrown from, but the acceleration would go probably up or something. Wouldn't that make you more in your seat? I don't know. As the winch pulls taut, the sub creaking painfully as the ceiling pinning it down scrapes against it. Oh no. Well, you sure did. What the hell? The hull breaks the water. I fling open the hatch. Calling out, I head towards the ship's floor. If you don't hurry, the girl's going to die. Inamo suddenly notices the body held between the manipulator's claws. The girl is floating face down, unmoving, her body limp. I crawl towards her and thrust out my hand. Grab hold quickly. She doesn't move. Maybe she's unconscious. Push myself off the sub's hull, trying to make my way over to her. But as my foot drives against the rusty metal, I feel it shudder beneath me. What? My leg catches against the framework. My prosthetic leg, which tears away from my body. I fall into the water and sink beneath the surface. Stunned, I gaze up at the soft morning light glimmering through the azure. Couldn't you swim with one leg and two arms, to be honest? To be fair, didn't we have to try to swim with only our arms in swimming classes? Don't remember anymore, but like it should be doable. I mean, it's beautiful. Perhaps it's because I instantly realized the hopelessness of my plight, but I'm surprisingly calm. My clothes are heavy with water. My one leg doesn't even attempt to keep me afloat. Opening myself to the soft embrace of the cool, radiant light, I let myself be taken by the depths. This is how I die? Well, at least I'm going to die somewhere peaceful or beautiful. I'd rather my last breath fill my lungs with water than darkness. As I gaze and wonder at the shimmering light, like a million jewels enveloping my body, a shadow starts to form within them. And it grows. It grows and grows, blocking all that beauty from my view. Stop it. Don't take the light away. The darkness scares me. Bruh. What are you doing here? The shadow bears down on me, and I feel a strange sensation against my lips. I see clearly now. The shadow is the girl. She's just blowing air into my lungs. What's she doing? She's sinking with me, pushing air into my mouth from her own. I feel her gift of oxygen fill my lungs. A terrible thought begins to float through my mind. I don't want to die. Came to this town because I had lost everything. I thought I had no reason to live anymore, and yet I do not want to die. What a selfish, greedy creature a human can be, to want to live on without reason. Can't believe it. But now there's no way back. Sorry I dragged you down into this. If she hadn't tried to save me, she could have lived on. But clearly she... whatever. But even with her breath sustaining me, my one remaining leg can do nothing to keep us from falling into the darkness. Oh, this is not a part of the story to start laughing. A plume of bubbles erupts from her mouth as she tries to say something. Not wishing to waste any more air, she quickly presses her mouth back to mine and points upward. Through the shining water comes a shape. A long, thin line connecting us to the light. A rope. I grasp hold of it and wrap my other arm around the girl. What an effect. I collapse on the ship's deck, basking in the sheer joy of breathing freely once more. Childhood friend be like, thanks for the help, Minamo. She holds up the rope with a grin. I don't have the energy to snap at her like I normally would. For once, I'm grateful for her debt collector instincts. She's sitting next to me, soaking wet, seemingly unfazed. She's still holding the sleeve of my shirt with her in her hand. Her grip is firm, as if she's trying to stop me from jumping into the sea again. Thank you. Innate duty? What a strange phrasing. Found her down there. She was sleeping in my grandmother's storehouse. Yeah. You're not... I think she might be a robot. Yeah, that's what I thought too. How are you talking? Oh my god. She's not human? She's just a robot in the shape of a human? Humanoids. Robots intended to resemble humans as much as possible, also marketed as androids or gynoids, depending on the manufacturer. Humanoids were produced en masse when humanity's technological progress was at its peak, and their construction was so advanced that they were indistinguishable from humans. They don't need to breathe, but their vocal systems are intended to replicate the human voice box. Naturally, that means they need a pair of lungs, or at least something resembling them, to hold air. I owe my life to that particular design quirk. Well, she must need some kind of electricity or energy at some point. You're just advertising yourself? About that. Minamo looks back and forth between Catherine and the robot girl. Somehow I don't think she'd have the same kind of reaction if she was looking at any other piece of industrial machinery. But to the untrained eye, this girl looks just like a human being. Oh no, it's like something like this. Your master died a month ago. Oof. I wasn't aware. I mean, I kind of assumed that Grandma died, given that she isn't here in this story, and that would have... Anyway, this town sunk into the rising seas 3 years ago. You've been asleep down there for all that time. Oh, 3 years. Okay, not 10 years, but I mean, still, the the whole she couldn't be alive for 10 years still works with 3 years. The robot counts to 3 on her fingers. A look of realization dawns on her face.
マスター、死んじゃったんですか？そうですか。合唱。なんか軽い。ロボットなんだから、これでも感情表現豊かな方でしょ。でも安心して。ばあさんの遺産はこいつが相続した。つまり、今のマスターはこの坊や。
Why are you saying that, given you wanted to sell it? If she has no master, it'd be better because you need to sell it. The robot girl turns to me and peers closely at my face.
そうなんですか。あなたが。
Yeah, I suppose I'm your master now?
さっき、海の中で出会った時から、そんな気がしていました。やっぱりそうだったんですね。
She speaks with a strange air of conviction. She tugs on my sleeve again. She looks like a kid who's just found her dad. Wonder if a sufficiently advanced robot without a master experiences the same fears this lost child would.
なんとお呼びしましょう。ご希望があればどうぞ。
Speech protocols? Call me Oni-chan if you... no. Nope, there it is.
とか、パパとか、兄様とか、兄ちゃまとか。
What the hell? Call me Natsuki. I abruptly cut her off before she says something I really don't want to have in my head. Mikoto ga Natsuki, that's my name.
夏希。
And what do I call
カ
you?
バンですか？
She reaches behind her head to lift up her hair. Her serial number must be on the back of her neck. No, I'm asking if you have a name. I wouldn't be surprised if that old bag never gave her one.
です。マスターが名付けてくれました。
ATRI, that's a nice name. The word slips out of my mouth without thinking.
固有名が与えられるのは、ものであるロボットが命あるものとして承認された証ですからね。
At which point does a humanoid robot have a consciousness like a human? Which I'm sure that has come up plenty of times in like sci-fi novels, I'm sure, and I haven't read many books, or like I don't really read that many books. Maybe I really should. Given that robot what's the word? At which point do we consider robots close enough to humans to have like a consciousness and need rights as well? I don't know.
いわゆる一つのステータスってやつです。
Robots think of names in that way. I never considered that before.
夏希もなかなかいい名前だと思いますよ。
You patronizing me?
こういう目線ですが。
She looks up at me with a blank expression. Probably my imagination, but there seems to be a glint of mischief in her young, delicate eyes. Then again, maybe it's just a reflection of the midday sun. I think back at the lights I saw underwater. After staring at me for a while, ATRI suddenly smiles. It's a smile so soft and gentle that I have the sudden wish to capture this moment in amber for
よろし
eternity.
くお願いしますね、夏希さん。
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. ATRI, my dear moments. Is this just the screen between, or I don't know. I'm gonna end this stream here, or this episode on YouTube, wherever you're watching. And because it's getting pretty late, I wanted to stream earlier, but other things came in the way. I really wonder what's gonna happen in this story, not gonna lie. I'm sure that whole thing with ethics and robots gonna come into play as well. let's save. I guess save is up and load is down, but you would think that the folder is where you save to and loading from a file. How many do I have? I have 150 save slots. Edit. Comment? Wow. Okay. Voice. Kiniri voice? Did you just say this? Can I... What? I can... Oh my god. If there's a funny voice clip... If there's a funny voice clip, I can hit the heart and I can listen to it again quickly. Not necessarily... It could even store, like, important information or something. That is kind of interesting. Well, let's head back to home and I'll end the... Oh, no, that's not that. I already saved, so let's go back to title. Yeah, I wonder what this game's gonna be like, to be honest. More like story. I'm actually... After Island, I am looking forward to playing more kind of story-based visual novels, as they should be. I think that visual novels are underappreciated, given they have that stigma of being dating simulators or having like R18 content in it. That's not what I'm here for, because yeah, Island really showed me how great reading a visual novel story can be. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream or whatever.